Shalom. Yahweh once again giving all praises to Yahweh.
Hawa, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash.
Through the grace and power of the Most High, we are here once again prophesizing the downfall of this wicked kingdom. So, there's been a lot of stuff going on in the news lately. Where do you want to begin?
For me, I was like, earlier I was reading some scriptures, going into prophecy, so we can get some of those. This is Ezekiel 22:18. Son of man, the house of Israel is to me become dross. All they are brass and tin and iron and lead in the midst of the furnace. There are even the dross of silver. And dross is like when you ever had like an old quarter or something like that, and it has like that black stuff on it, like that black residue on it. That's dross. It says, therefore, thus saith the Lord, Yahweh, because ye are all become dross, behold, therefore I will gather you into the midst of Jerusalem. And Israel, especially the 2/3, it's just they're wicked, They're not clean. They just foul.
Yeah, like, you know that rapper, the female rapper, Sexy Red?
Yeah.
Her wicked ass.
Yeah.
Remember she pulled up to the closer to the concert, she flicked off everybody, put up the middle fingers.
Yeah.
Like, you in a damn school, surrounded by a bunch of minors, and that's how you're conducting yourself?
I'd be like, yo, this bitch is an industry plant.
Yep.
Like, she's so damn wicked, and the message she pushes, like the latest video I seen is like, oh, I'm the raw dog queen. I'm like, this bitch is foul, son.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, she's like, I don't use condoms. I'm the raw dog queen. I'm like, yo, this bitch is foul.
And then I seen another video of her. She was saying, I don't want to be saved. She had an instrumental playing in the background. She was riding in the car. She was saying, it sounded like she was making a song as she was like rolling in the car. She said, I don't want to be saved, right? I don't want to be saved. So that's omnuous, because she's not going to be saved.
Right.
It's kind of like omen knowing. It's like a sign, because nobody sees her repenting. She ain't gonna make it.
She's tatted the fuck up.
She's wicked.
Piercings all over the place. She's through.
But you see, but this is the type of stuff, the type of image that the youth have to look up to, right?
Right.
Because this is what the industry is pushing, and this is the music that they're pushing and projecting on these young people's minds, and then they fall for it,
Yup. Sukiana, that damn demon too.
They think all this stuff, all this abnormal behavior, they think that it's acceptable.
Right.
They think that it's normal. See, this is an upside down, wicked world that we live in. So, you got it.
It says, as they gather silver and brass and iron and lead and tin into the midst of the furnace to blow the fire upon it, to melt it, so will I gather you in mine anger and in mine fury, and I will leave you there and melt you. And notice how look at the metals it describes: silver, brass, iron, lead, and tin. Those are inferior metals. So then I went to look up the definition of inferior. Let's get that real quick. Inferior, of little or less importance, value, or merit. And what good are these people going to be in the kingdom of heaven? That's why they just got to be destroyed here, melted, and come back in the kingdom as newborn babes, because they serve no purpose in the kingdom of heaven and in the condition that they're in now.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be like how it was during the time of Moses, where the Lord saves everybody from Egypt, including the mixed multitude, which is the other nations. It's not going to be no scenario like that. All right? He brings everybody into imagine the chariots come, right? And then everybody that's in America, that's an Israelite, they get beamed up. And imagine they not even right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're over there fussing on the ship.
Right, twerking on the UFOs and the chariots.
Yeah.
Continuing on, it says, ye, I will gather you and blow upon you in the fire of my wrath, and ye shall be melted in the midst thereof, as silver is melted in the midst of the furnace, so shall ye be melted in the midst thereof. And ye shall know that I, the Lord, have poured out my fury upon you. And the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto her, Thou art the land that is not cleansed, nor rained upon in the day of indignation.
Yep. And if you want to bring it up to speed, the time when the land, our land, which really is the land of Israel, Jake has it in their mind, whatever land that they own, this is where they're supposed to be. Jake wants to really make it their place over here in America. They want to make this their land. They want to make this their home.
This their rest.
When in reality, our rest in our homeland is over there on the other side of the world in the Middle East.
Right.
That's our true homeland. And the way that land is going to be cleansed is when World War III takes place. Because them fake people up there in that land today, they're gonna get demolished and destroyed up out of that land. That's how that land is gonna be cleansed.
Right.
And then that's when we're gonna have to rebuild. I mentioned earlier how imagine a scenario where you got Jake that ain't right, and they on the ship, and then they come down on the ship, and that's really when the real work is gonna begin, because we gotta really build up the world all over again. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We gotta put the world in order. So it's going to be a lot of work to do, which we're going to be up for.
Yeah, we got spiritual powers. Not like we're going to get tired.
Yeah, because we got to really set everything straight, set everybody on this earth straight. There will be no more Roman Catholicism worshiping. There will be no more Allah this, Allah that. There will be no more pork, no swine.
And it's not like people are just going to automatically accept it. They're going to buck up. But
Yeah, no pork on the fork, none of that.
Right.
All these nations that have their customs. I was watching a video on YouTube, and do you know in China, bro, they use gutter. They open up the gutters because that's where the restaurant's waste goes into. So they was filtering out the oils that these restaurants use for when they cook, and then they recycle the same oil that people was eating with.
Yeah.
Yes, I seen it.
Yeah.
I seen the video. I'm like, yo, see, there's a difference. There's a difference in people.
Yeah, China.
Yeah, the Moabites,
yeah, they foul.
They be wild.
They foul as hell. I seen a video where there was this dude, and it was like a hog, and they was eating out the same bowl. I'm like, that's disgusting.
Yup. So you know what else them restaurants do? Because in China they eat a lot of soup.
Right.
So they take the soup broth that somebody ate that they didn't finish, because they be putting like spicy chili peppers in there.
Yeah.
So I guess not everybody wants to eat the entire broth. So then they take it to the back of the restaurant, and then they recycle that same broth that somebody just ate out of. They call it spit oil. It's called spit oil. That ass.
That's foul as hell.
That shit is.
That's foul as hell, yo.
So them people ain't right. Don't go to China and eat the food.
Word.
That's how you get sick.
That's crazy. I ain't never heard of that. That was it on that. You had something?
Yeah. Isaiah 24:1.
That's foul. I ain't never heard of something.
Yeah, look it up. It's on YouTube.
This is Isaiah chapter 24, verse 1. It says, Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priests.
So everybody, really everybody on this earth is going to be disheveled once World War III takes place. Because think about it, that's a major world event. Imagine you watching the news and you see how you hear about the chariots, the so-called UFOs, and you know how everybody's talking about that now in the news. And they're gonna hear how people got beamed up and how the chariots were shooting down laser beams. People aren't gonna know what the hell to do.
Right.
They're gonna be bugging out.
All over the world.
Yep.
Like they'll be like, are they coming here next?
A lot of destruction, a lot of death. And so, like I said, that's when we're gonna come in.
It says, and it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker or usury, so with the giver or usury of it.
So what is it speaking of?
It's talking about like taking advantage of people.
Yep. Because that's really what this system does to people. Usury, I mentioned usury, right?
Yeah.
So people have it in their minds that they have to have a certain level of credit, and in order to even get your credit score up, you got to use your credit card or whatever, and then you got to owe money on that. So it's like they're making money off you in order for you to maneuver in a system that they made.
Right. And then it's like, okay, say you borrow a certain amount of money, they're gonna tax it. Obviously, if I'm borrowing it, I don't really have it. So why are you gonna tax me on top of that, knowing it's gonna be difficult for me to pay it back? That's usury.
Yeah, like you take out a mortgage for 30 years, 40 years, whatever the case may be, and you're paying a lot of money in interest.
Right.
A lot of money. That's how the bank makes their money back. So
That's why they're banking on you to use those cards. They want you to go broke. So that way it's a cycle. You keep paying, you keep paying, you keep paying. And then the interest, that's how they get you.
and if you notice, they raised the credit percentage rate.
Yeah, the annual percentage
Yeah,
rate.
the interest rate. So now you got to pay more on stuff that you owe for.
And the more you use the card, the more you pay in interest.
Yeah. And then the reason why they did that in the first place is so that they can combat what's going on in the economy right now. Because this bubble is getting larger and larger. And sooner or later, it's gonna burst.
Right.
And then that's when they're gonna come out with their new system, and then people are gonna have to get down with that new way of commerce. Everything's gonna go digital.
Yeah.
I mean, we've seen it thus far now, but you know it's gonna go to the next level.
Continuing on, Isaiah 24:3.
Yeah, because let me finish my point. Because I was thinking about this yesterday actually. You know, a lot of stores they kind of downsize their products because now you have the internet, so you don't really need so much of a storefront these days.
Right.
You know, you see how a lot of companies are downsizing. So
Yeah, like the
it's
you don't
showing
need brick and mortar like that.
Yeah, it's showing you the direction of the economy. And if you look at the economy now, it's not growing. If anything, it's stagnant.
Right.
But it's not growing.
This is Isaiah 24:3. It says, "The land shall be utterly empty and utterly spoiled."
So this is speaking about Babylon the Great. You as soil.
It says, "For the Lord hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away."
And this is not speaking about ancient Babylon. This is speaking about the new Babylon. All right, modern day Babylon.
The world languisheth and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
The earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. And we see who's ruling the world today. It's Esau, the wicked. How do you prove who the wicked is? Go to Malachi. Let's go back to the basics. Get to the point. I think it's the third verse, fourth verse. Let's read that real quick. Malachi 1.
Malachi I don't know what's that. Malachi 4. This is Malachi chapter 1 verse 3. "And I hated Esau."
Yeah.
Ma-
You don't gotta. It's for the sake of the algorithm.
What?
Just
3:4.
yeah.
Alright, this is Malachi 1:4. "Whereas Edom saith, We are impoverished, but we will returneth and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts. They shall build, but I will throw down, and they shall call them the border of wickedness."
Right. So when it says you shall build, but I shall throw down, that was really speaking about the Renaissance period, because that's when Esau came into his power.
It says, "And the people against whom the Lord hath indignation forever."
Yeah. So that's something that will never change.
It says, "And your eyes shall see, and ye shall say, The Lord will be magnified from the border of Israel." Isaiah 24 and 5. It says, the earth also is defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, and broken the everlasting covenant.
So where do we begin with that? I mean, that hits it right on the nail.
Yeah. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine.
Wow, so this scripture right here lets you know that there's going to be a deduction in the population of the earth once the day of the Lord comes. And naturally it's going to be that way because everybody that's here in this U.S. soil in America, nobody going to make it.
Right.
I mean, how many people are here in this 5,000 square mile lands? What, like 300 million, 300 and something million, right?
I would think it's more than that.
It might even be more than that. And on top of the casualties that are going to be happening during the war, you know, a lot of people are going to die. You know, it's always been like that throughout history.
Right.
Shoot, matter of fact, look up the numbers on the amount of people that lost their lives in World War II.
Civilian deaths totaled 50 to 55 million.
That's a lot of people, man. So everything comes full circle. It makes you wonder what the number is going to be when the Third World War takes place.
Yeah. Yeah, I get a varying articles that say different things, but it ranges from like 50 to like 85. Either way, that's still a lot.
That's still a lot of people.
See how many people are here on U.S. soil.
Yeah, you got to factor that in as well. Is anybody going to make it on this side?
331 million
Right.
as of 2021.
For those that participate in the census.
Yeah, that's a lot of people, and only a remnant's gonna make it out of here.
And that's not even including the amount that are going to have to get purged. Because you're going to have a lot of our people that they're just simply not going to be fit to make it.
Yeah.
And then they're going to be rebels, like it says in Ezekiel. Matter of fact, get that one real quick. And then go back to Isaiah. You know what I'm talking about? Purge out the rebels.
Yeah.
Purge the rebels.
This is Ezekiel chapter 20, verse 38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me.
Right.
I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn.
Right. So that could be anywhere. I mean, it could be South America. It could be Africa. It could be Europe.
And they shall not enter into the land of Israel.
Yeah, they cannot enter into the land of Israel because they ain't right. They're just simply not fit to be in that position. So a lot of our people are gonna have to get put down, and they're gonna have to come back in the next life in the kingdom, which is gonna be a good thing because at least they're gonna be right. You know, at that point, I would imagine the world is set up because, like I said, the elect they're gonna have to put in a lot of work.
Yep.
It's gonna be a lot of work putting this earth into order, man.
Yep. Having to bring back the nations. There's gonna be a lot of baby making.
Yup.
Having to bring back the whole nation that died on this side.
Not only that, but you gotta rebuild, build up the land,
Yep. The
farming,
infrastructure.
agriculture, you know, buildings, stuff like that.
Right.
Houses.
Who knows? It might just take 1,000 years. And when it's all done, all right, Esau, you served out your purpose. Now we're gonna burn you up.
That's not a bad take.
Yeah.
That's not a bad take. Because the scriptures does mention the 1,000 years.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I've heard different takes on that. You know, some people think that we're gonna live for 1,000 years, and then after that, I don't know, we're gonna go back into the spiritual realm or something like that. That doesn't really make sense.
Yeah.
Because the scriptures say we're gonna live forever.
Right.
And And how are we gonna die in the first place if we're gonna be immune to diseases
Right.
and stuff like that, and aging?
Have our spiritual bodies.
Yeah, the Apostle Paul broke it down. He said how we're gonna be changed in the moment of a twinkling of an eye.
Right.
So I would imagine the first 1,000 years is gonna be set up a certain way. You know, we're gonna be doing certain things, and then everything after that is gonna be something. It's gonna be like a new era, possibly. But you know, it's fun to think. You know,
Right.
we don't really have.
We just meditate. You know?
Yeah, we don't really have the exact answer for that. You know? What's gonna happen after the 1,000 years?
Right. The rough draft.
We gotta wait and see.
Going back to Isaiah. This is Isaiah 24:6. It says, "Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. The new wine mourneth, the vine languisheth, all the merry-hearted do sigh."
Or the merry-hearted do sigh. So it's gonna be like a relief when we're in the kingdom, right?
Says the mirth of Tebrets ceaseth, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song. Strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it.
Yeah, because once the destruction of this place happens, we're not gonna have to like worry about the things that we worry about today. You know what I'm saying? Like our people like joining onto different philosophies and this and that. So like I just said, it's gonna be like a breath of fresh air. It's gonna be a release when we're in the kingdom. Because we're no longer gonna have to put up with the nonsense that we have to put up on a day-to-day basis.
We'll actually know what it's like to rest.
It wouldn't make any sense for the stuff that we see going on now to be the same stuff that's going on in the kingdom.
Right. What would that be? Babylon 3.0?
Actually, yeah, Babylon 1 and you got Babylon 2, so yeah, Babylon 3.0.
It just doesn't make sense for him to come destroy this place to send us to another land where the same things are going on. It doesn't make sense. This is Isaiah 24:10. It says, "The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up, that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All joy is darkened. The mirth of the land is gone." And you see that going on now. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
mirth
people
means
aren't.
entertainment.
Yeah, people aren't like, you know, like back in the days, especially after, you know, the P Diddy. You know, people are just different now. Just life is just different now.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pivotal time,
Yeah.
pivotal moment. And even during that time, you had the election. So I was meditating on this. What's going to happen next year in the next election? Which I would imagine we're going to make it that far. What do you think?
I think we will. I think we'll see it.
What do you think? Yeah. So it's a possibility. We might not even make it to the election. You know, something might happen. You know, it could be a state of decay, you know, state of emergency. You know, I mean, we'll see.
Yeah.
But it's looking like definitely we're gonna be here next year. We're gonna be here next year. I don't know what quarter, but we're gonna be here.
Lord's will, not too much longer after that. Isaiah 24:12. "And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction. When thus it shall be in the midst of the land among the people, there shall be as the shaking of an olive tree, and as the gleaning grapes when the vintage is done. They shall lift up their voice, they shall sing for the majesty of the Lord. They shall cry aloud from the sea. Wherefore glorify ye the Lord in the fires, even the name of the Lord Yahweh of Israel, in the isles of the sea. From the uttermost part of the earth have we heard songs, even glory to the righteous. But I said, my leanness, woe unto me. The treacherous dealers have dealt treacherously. Ye, the treacherous dealers, have dealt very treacherously." Continue on.
Go to Isaiah 29:16.
This is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 16. Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work...
What does the word esteem mean? Look that up.
To think, account, to plan, devise, mean, to charge, compute, recon, esteem, value, regard.
So the Most High is the potter, and you can say that we're the clay. Esau is the clay as well, because the Most High, he designed Esau to be the wicked, and he designed Jacob to really be the righteous, even though we are inherently wicked as a people right now, you know. But ultimately, we are going to be purified and made righteous.
You're going to get that dross off us.
Yep. So the Most High, he put it this way. He set it up this way. So if you want to get mad at anybody, take it up with the Most High, which I wouldn't recommend.
Right.
Scriptures say he's a consuming fire.
So surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Is it not yet a very little while, and Lebanon shall be turned into a fruitful field, and the fruitful field shall be esteemed as a forest?
Right.
And
So that's speaking about our land, man. Once we get our land back, you look at the land of Israel today, it's really barren and waste. You know, not too much is really growing, not too much is going on over there. It looks like a desert.
abomination going on over there. It says, and in that day shall the deaf hear words of the book, and the eyes of the blind shall see out of obscurity and out of darkness. The meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord.
Right. And remember that scripture where it says, the meek shall inherit the earth. So the meek is speaking about the Israelites, people on this sign right here, starting with the elect.
Right.
Because we're the most humbled down people on this earth when you take into account everything that we've gone through throughout history. When you really come to think of it, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
We're on the bottom.
yep.
We don't have no reason to be proud.
Look at various countries around the earth that Jake lives is considered poor, third world country.
The hood, the ghettos, the corners.
Right. Look at Venezuela. You know, they eating out of garbage cans. But that's our people. And that's what we've been reduced to. It's sad and unfortunate, but you know what? We got better days to look up to. Better days are coming.
It says, the meek also shall increase their joy in the Lord, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all that watch for iniquity are cut off, that make a man an offender for a word, and lay a snare for him that reproveth in the gate, and turn aside the just for a thing of naught.
Yeah, like how when Esau, he be making it to where you can't say certain things, or you could even like imagine a scenario like this where the men of the Lord, they're gonna be demonized. Like you're not even gonna be able to like do what we do right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, preach about your Howard Shai.
Yeah, they throw that anti you know what on you.
Yeah,
That tag on you.
yeah. They put
Even
you
though
in a-
we are the people.
they put you on a certain list, a certain demographic. Like, yeah, these are the guys that you gotta look out for.
Right. They do that strategically. They make you radioactive. Isaiah 29 and 22 says, therefore thus saith the Lord who redeemed Abraham concerning the house of Jacob, Jacob shall shall not now be ashamed, neither shall his face now wax pale. But when he seeth his children, the work of mine hands, in the midst of him, they shall sanctify my name, and sanctify the Holy One of Jacob, and shall fear the power of Israel. They also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding.
Wait. So is anybody fearing the power of Israel right now?
Only the elect.
So these people that are in that land, they're not fitting the description, the prophecy. You know what I'm saying? It's not measuring up. So at the time when people are going to fear the Lord of Israel, is going to be in the kingdom. And also during the time of judgment, that day of judgment, when Yahushua comes back.
Magnifies himself.
Exactly. But they're not even, like I said, initially when that stuff happens, that chariots crack the skies, people aren't even going to really know what to make of it. You know? And then that's when we're going to have to come down, assuming we're of the elect, you know, with our new bodies, our spiritual power. That's what we're going to have to explain to them. You see that man that you might have seen him on the TV. See, that's who you would call Jesus Christ ignorant.
Oh.
But his real name is Yahushua. You got to break it down to him. So everything that you read in the Bible is true. It's real.
That's our big brother.
You cannot excuse it anymore. That's what we're gonna have to explain to them. And if they buck up, they come up against us, that's when we're gonna have to lay them down.
Right. You got to be bold to try and buck up against men with spiritual powers. It's not like we're going to be in our bodies that we're in now. If we could possibly be 8 feet tall, you know, we could be like stout. We're not just going to look like your regular so. We're not going to have the same stature.
Yeah, you could be as tall as you want to be.
Right.
You want to be 6'8", you could be that. The next day you want to be 6'5", you could be that. You know?
Muscles on top of muscles.
If you want that.
Right.
I'll tell you what though, ain't nobody gonna be a beast. Imagine a Jake woman being obese in the kingdom. Nah, that's not gonna be like that.
Right.
But you know what? What adds to Jake's poor health is the foods that we're, eating right now.
Yeah.
Get that scripture. You know what I'm talking about.
The food to be defiled among the Gentiles. Bread.
A lot of our foods that we eat is tainted. It's got chemicals. It was made in a lab. That type of stuff.
This is Ezekiel 4:13. And the Lord said, even thus shall the children of Israel eat their defiled bread among the Gentiles, whether I will drive them.
So that's being fulfilled now, today. You go up in the ghettos, the hood, you might see a KFC on the one block, and then right across the street it's a McDonald's.
Right.
You got Popeyes. Why is all that stuff in the hood?
Right. The crackhead chicken spots, the crowns in the hoods.
Yep.
Because I gotta watch how I say this, medical information thing. But like, there was this video I was watching, and like, because the food that we eat wasn't the same as our grandparents ate it, because of the stuff that's pumped into it now. Like a chicken, it really takes like 6 months for a chicken to grow. But here in Babylon,
Really?
yeah, it really takes 6 months for a chicken to grow to its full size naturally. But here in Babylon, it'll take like 28 days. And then in some places where they like farm and raise the chickens are so big and they got so big so fast, they can't even walk because their legs and their muscles hasn't been able to, have time to build up to sustain itself. And then when you eat that in your body, that's what you're consuming.
Yeah.
So this food is just defiled.
A lot of the malpractice and wrong stuff that goes on in the food industry is being exposed today.
Right.
Now, you see Tyson chickens, they're actually downsizing.
Yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that, but
I don't
they're
eat that shit.
downsizing chicken, whatever they produce, meat production, and who knows really why they're doing it. I mean, some people speculate they're doing it to drive up the price of the chicken because the price went down, or maybe they're finally taking a hit in the pockets because people are waking up. Some people are waking up, to the fact that, like I said, there's a lot of wrong stuff that goes on in the food industry. So
Yeah, Babylon is so foul too. because things that they allowed in the food here, they don't even allow it in other countries. Like other countries, high fructose corn syrup is banned, but you're allowed to have it here in America. There'll be two companies. There's one company that'll make two different kinds of like a ketchup, where they'll have foul ingredients in America, but say in Canada, they'll have a clean version of that same ketchup, and it's the same brand.
But let them tell it it's good for you.
Right.
It's good for you to eat.
Vegetable oil. It's vegetable. It can't be bad for you. That's the trick, though. This is the last verse. This is Isaiah 29 and 24. It says, they also that erred in spirit shall come to understanding, and they that murmured shall learn doctrine. That's it on that.
All right. You got something else?
Yeah. Let's go to this 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yahweh? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. Again,
So all you niggas that paint your nails, you're not gonna make it.
right. That's going back into the inferior. You serve no purpose.
That's effeminate.
It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh.
And everything that you just read right there is what's being promoted in the music that we listen to, the shows that we might watch, the movies, you know?
Sorcery, you got the BMF, drug dealers and all that. The adulterers, you got, the sexy reds and all of that. The fornicators, like
Cardi B.
Right. Nicki Minaj.
Let's name some male rappers too. You guys throw them up in there.
NBA YoungBoy, Lil Durk, Baby. I could go all day. All these niggas ain't right.
You know what? Since he's speaking about that, get that scripture, right? You know what I'm thinking of?
What? Oh, Bolo, right.
Might as well. What is that, Limitations? Or nah, I think that's Ecclesiasticus. I'm not even so sure.
There's Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4. It says, when the doors are shut in the streets, and the sounds of grinding is low, when one rises
The
up...
sounds of grinding is low. So there's gonna really come a point where it's not gonna be making much sense to even like work, like keep your job,
Right.
because you're not even gonna be concerned about that. Your mind is gonna be on survival mode. Because when all hell breaks loose, you're either gonna be like, I gotta get up and go to work next
Right.
week. I get up and go tomorrow. Ain't gonna be no job for you to go back
Right.
to.
What does it say? In that day, people to be lovers of thyself.
Yeah, because when Second Ezra's, what is it, 16, 15?
How's it go?
Yeah, either way, either of those chapters, when those prophecies come to pass, that's gonna be like a time of like societal collapse.
Right.
Really,
Right.
it's gonna be a period of that.
Yeah. People are gonna be trying to break into your shit, trying to take what you got.
Exactly. Start over.
It's Ecclesiastes 12 and 4. It says, when the doors are shut in the streets, and the sound of grinding is low, when one rises up at the sound of a bird, and the daughters of music are brought low.
The daughters of music are brought low, and ain't no denying that the music today that we hear, it's not good, man.
Right, it's really not.
It's bad.
Because I was meditating on this yesterday. That's funny too. Cause like say like back in the days, like Lil Kim, yeah, her music, and Foxy Brown, yeah, they was kind of wicked, but the shit it sounded pretty good. But this Ice Spice shit, I don't get
I gotta
it.
admit that. Yo, you turn on the radio, all you hear is Ice Spice.
Yeah, I don't get it. For the love of me, I can't
She's a
understand
star.
it.
Remember, she was at the BET Awards.
Yeah.
She was performing. She was getting all that praise from
Yeah, all
from
these
the OGs.
accolades. Yeah.
Even from the OG artists, that came before her. It was like, yeah, I love Ice Spice.
Yeah, for the love of me, I don't get it.
Man, if I was in that position, if I was an OG rapper and I was a legend in the game, I'll be talking down on these artists. I hate all this shit.
Yeah, this shit is
That's what
trash.
Dr. Dre said. I don't know if you
Yeah,
heard that.
Rakim too.
Dr. Dre said, I don't like none of this music, really. But if you don't like it, you don't have to listen to it. Don't be the guy hating. You know what I'm saying? He's like, you don't like it, just don't listen to it.
Rakim was like, you are now witnessing the de-evolution of hip hop. And that's true. Like Lil Kim and Foxy Brown, yeah, they wicked, but I can see why people like it. I like it, but this Ice Spice shit, I don't get it.
You already know how I feel about that.
I don't get it. Sexy Reds, all of them, I don't get it.
Daughters of music have absolutely been brought low, man. And you see how artists today, they're having a hard time selling tickets to their concerts. Why is that? Because, well, for one, your music's trash, and then for
That
two,
part.
you don't have a good stage presence. All you do when you be at your concerts performing, it's like gyrating on the stage, you know,
Right.
rapping your
Waving your
whack ass,
hands.
rapping your whack ass lyric and stuff like that, you know.
Yeah.
All the music sounds the same nowadays.
Yeah, I can't get
So
jiggy to
it's,
none
so
of
it's
this
like,
shit.
how could you really like separate yourself? You know, every Jake want to be a rapper now.
Right.
You know, so the game is oversaturated. And when you see how there's a specific formula that's being followed by everybody, that's how you get your music devalued. So that's what we're seeing today. So this scripture right here, it don't lie.
Right.
It's not lying.
Last verse. This is 1 Corinthians 6:11. And such were some of you. Actually, I'll start again. This is 1 Corinthians 6:10. It says, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yahweh. And such were some of you. But ye are washed, but ye are sanctified, but ye are justified in the name of the Lord Yahushua, and by the Spirit of our power. Let's go to Malachi, start at 1. This is Malachi chapter 4, verse 1. It says, for behold, the day cometh that shall burn as an oven, and all the proud, ye, and all that do wickedly shall be stubble, and the day that cometh shall burn them up, saith the Lord of hosts.
So if you ain't right, you never put forth an effort to repenting and getting back on the straight path, because we all, at one point, whether it's been like in our past lives, or whether it be in this life, we was all presented with the truth, you know, the right way to go, you know? I mean, you can't deny that you have an opportunity to hear this word. You got the internets that exist today.
Right.
So this word is being pushed forth throughout the whole earth. You could be in the other side of the world and hear what we're saying. So when that day of judgment comes, ain't gonna be no excuse. No excuses.
Saith the Lord of hosts, that it shall leave them neither root nor branch. But unto you that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wings, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves of the stall. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under the soles of your feet. In that day that I shall do this, saith the Lord of hosts.
Yep.
That's it.
Now get Jude 1 and 5. You might can even start up a couple verses.
Let's start at 3. This is Jude chapter 1, verse 3. Actually, I'll start at the top. This is Jude 1 and 1. Jude, the servant of Yahushua and the brother of James, to them that are sanctified by Yahweh the Father, and preserved in Yahushua, and called mercy unto you, and peace and love be multiplied. Beloved, when I gave all diligence to write unto you of the common salvation, it was needful for me to write unto you and exhort you that ye should earnestly contend for the faith which was once delivered unto the saints.
Right. So it was a tight-knit circle during the time of the ministry back then. You know, many of the prophets knew each other. You know, same thing back then. You know, a lot of people were ignorant to the fact that they was Israelites. So it was only a select few that really uh, came into this fold, you know. And same thing today. Only a select few are gonna get this truth and really like embrace it.
Says, for there are certain men crept in unawares, who were before of old ordained to this condemnation.
So pay attention to your circle, because you never know who's out to get you.
Ungodly men turning the grace of our power into lasciviousness, and denying the only Lord power, and our Lord Yahushua. I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how that the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt.
So, though we once knew this, so the Most High, He put this back into our memory, because we had it at one point. Whether it, like I said, whether it was in our past life, you know, we had it at one point.
Right.
So it's like when you come into this truth, it's like you're refreshed. I feel refreshed. You know, in order to be refreshed, it means that you had to have it at some point.
Right. Repentance means turn back. That means you had to have been there to turn back. It says, I will therefore put you in remembrance, though ye once knew this, how the Lord, having saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterwards destroyed them that believed not.
So this truth makes all the sense in the world to us. And whether you know it or not, it's something that you've been searching for your whole life. You know? Because I like to think that, you know, you have the propensity, a certain propensity, when you was in the world, you know, to even get to the point to where you are today in this truth, you know? You might have been doing wrong, you might have been doing dirt, but there, you know, there was something in you. You know, there was something in you for the Most High to work with, to where He would redirect your path to the straight and narrow path. You know, because all of us veered off the path. You know, we wasn't brought into this world perfect. You know, we wasn't always privy to the fact that we're Israel, that we're the Israelites. But here we are now, making up for lost time.
Continue on.
Yeah, is there more?
Jude 1:6 says, and the angels which kept not their first estate, but left their own habitation, He hath reserved in everlasting chains under darkness unto the judgment of the great day.
Right, so really we're angels, you know? But we're just reduced angels.
Even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of the eternal fire.
Read that part again.
It says, even as Sodom and Gomorrah and the cities about them in like manner. Because there was more than just Sodom and Gomorrah. I believe there was 5 cities in total that was destroyed.
Okay.
It says, and the cities about them in like manner, giving themselves over to fornication and going after strange flesh, are set forth for an example, suffering the vengeance of eternal fire.
So all that wickedness that was going on back then, and all the wickedness that's going on today, is really set up as an example for how we shouldn't conduct ourselves. And like I mentioned earlier, everything's going to be set straight in the kingdom. All right?
It says, likewise also, these filthy dreamers defile the flesh, despise dominion, and speak evil of dignities. Yet Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, durst not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, the Lord rebuke thee.
That's it on that.
Let's go to the Apocrypha.
The Apocrypha.
Start with one. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 2, verse 1. It says, my son, if thou come to serve the Lord, prepare thy soul for temptation. constantly endure, and make not haste in time of trouble. Cleave unto him, and depart not away, that thou mayest be increased at thy last end.
So it's not easy, walking this path and this truth, all right? Because you're gonna have people that try you. Um, this world that we live in, it's really gonna try to bring you down, you know?
It's a fight at the end of the day. We're wicked flesh in a wicked world. So it's a fight at the end of the day.
So it's like every day, you're really just trying to maintain and stay afloat.
Right.
Apostle Paul said he knows what it's like to be abased, and he knows what it's like to be abound. So we absolutely know what it's like to be on the bottom. So in the kingdom, we're gonna be appreciative for the stuff that we receive. You know, the new lifestyle that we receive. You know, because in order to appreciate righteousness, you have to understand what wickedness is like. So speaking for us, we just try to stay somewhere in the middle, because you don't want to get too high, and you don't want to get too low in this world.
Right.
Stay somewhere in the middle.
Right. Good point. The Ecclesiastes 2:4 now. It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate." So when you're going through hell, just remain patient. When you get frustrated, be patient. Like, I'm not gonna lie, when I was on the way to the first location, I was driving and there was a car. He was like in front of me, but he was pulling into like his driveway. So I was just sitting there waiting, and I was gonna let him like do his thing because he had to do a 3-point turn. And the car behind me honked as the car was moving. I wanted to just wave the middle finger out the window, but I was like, let me chill. I'm about to go to camp. let me chill. It's like shit like that just be pissing me off. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity."
Right. So you gotta go through that fire because it's gonna purify you. Right now we're going through the fire.
It says, "Believe in him, and he will help thee."
So believe in the Most High. All right. No matter what you're going through, whether it be good, if the Most High allows you to have something good, appreciate it. Praise the Most High. Don't let it get to your head.
Yeah.
Don't let it go to your head.
That's the important thing. Whatever you receive, always give all the glory to Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai, because you didn't do it of yourself, no matter what it is, good or bad.
Mm-hmm. And then when the Lord, brings you down, you just go like, all right, I know why I'm in this sunken place.
Right.
I know why.
I know why this happened to me. I deserve it. It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him. Ye that fear the Lord, wait for his mercy, and go not aside, lest ye fall."
Right, because our latter end is going to be great.
Don't try and take it upon yourself. It says, "Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail."
Right, so we would say that we fear the Most High. I mean, why else are we out here doing what we do?
Right.
Conducting ourselves as Israelites in this society that doesn't embrace us. You go to a certain place where you try to kick this knowledge, this truth. People are gonna be looking at you crazy. They're gonna demonize you, like, yo, this guy, get him out of here.
He's a bug out.
Yeah, he's crazy.
What's he talking about?
You go to the job and you try to prophesize, kick this
God.
truth to your coworkers or whoever, you're gonna get fired.
Yeah.
Most likely you're gonna get fired. So you just gotta know how to conduct yourself in this world. Know how to maneuver. Know who you're dealing with, and stay on point.
Yeah, and that's that spirit of discernment.
Yep.
It says, "Ye that fear the Lord, believe him, and your reward shall not fail. Ye that fear the Lord, hope for good and for everlasting joy and mercy. Look at the generation of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him?
Right. So the Most High, he always looked out for his people.
It's like Job when when Satan put that affliction on him. He still trusted in the Lord. You know, he didn't curse him.
Yeah, he went through tribulation.
Right. He said, just like you know, he's like roughly paraphrasing. It's like the Lord, he gave us good, so how could we not accept the bad? You know, just that's how it is.
But in the kingdom, it's gonna be all good for the most part.
Right.
You're not gonna have to worry about our enemies coming up against us, plotting and scheming on taking us down.
Right.
Esau oppressing us economically, spiritually, mentally. You know, with all the low vibrational stuff that he pushes out.
Being upright people.
Yeah, like in the kingdom, you're not gonna have to second guess if there's pork in your food, or,
Right.
or if your chicken is free roam. You know,
Pasture raised.
free roam chicken. You're not gonna have to second guess that because everything is gonna be right.
Right.
So the foods that we eat, you know, going back to what we were speaking of earlier, it plays a role in how you feel mentally and spiritually.
Yeah, for sure. It says, look.
And not only that, but physically, of course, physically.
It says, look at the generations of old and see, did ever any trust in the Lord and was confounded? Or did any abide in his fear and was forsaken? Or whom did he ever despise that called upon him? For the Lord is full of compassion and mercy, long-suffering and very pitiful, and forgiveth sins and saveth in the time of affliction. And that's what we're hoping for in the times to come during Jacob's trouble.
I mean, even right now we're being afflicted,
Yeah,
but it's just gonna be to that next level during the time of Jacob's trouble.
it's going to be 10x. We ain't seen nothing yet.
Affliction times 10, times 5, whatever. Let's finish this up. Or times 7. Because remember, Job, you know what I'm talking about? Job, I forget. Where it speaks about he will deliver you from the seventh, before the seventh trouble or something like that. See if you can find that one real quick. You gotta read that.
Job 5 and 19.
Yep.
Job 5 chapter, this is Job chapter 5 verse 19. It says, he shall deliver thee in 6 troubles. Ye in 7 there shall no evil touch thee.
Right.
In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it come.
Yeah, because if you're of the elect, you're gonna be looking down from a bird's eye view while you're in the chariot and just looking down at the destruction of this place. How it's completely just wiped out and engulfed in flames.
Right.
You know?
At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth.
So it's gonna be joyful and glorious in that day, you know? You might have tears of joy, you know, like, oh, it's over, it's finally over. We made it.
We made it.
And you're gonna start laughing. But then you might even start thinking about all your family members that didn't make it. So it could be bittersweet, you know, that's where the tears come in.
Right.
But either way, you know it's gonna be good because you're gonna receive back your family. What is that scripture? Receive your family tenfold.
Tenfold.
Yes.
Everything you lost on this side, you receive it tenfold.
Yeah, you're gonna get that and then some. So don't worry about it, man. You know, some people hear what's going on and how things is gonna be in the future, and it could deter them from wanting to really embrace this truth. You know, get all into it. You know, it turns them off, but we understand what's gonna take place in the future, man. You don't worry about the nows. You just focus on what's going to happen in the future. You know, you just take it day by day. And that's really all we can do now.
You got something?
You finished that?
Let me just finish these last couple of verses.
Yeah, just finish that and we're going to wrap it up.
This is Ecclesiasticus 2:12. It says, "Woe be to fearful hearts and faint hands, and the sinner that goeth two ways. Woe unto him that is faint-hearted, for he believeth not, therefore shall he not be defended. Woe unto you that have lost patience, and that will ye do when the Lord shall visit you."
Yeah, you have a lot of people that lost patience. They was in the truth and they just fell off.
And back in the world. It says, "They that fear the Lord will not disobey his word, and they that love him will keep his ways. They that fear the Lord will seek that which is well, pleasing unto him, and they that love him shall be filled with the law. They that fear the Lord will prepare their hearts and humble their souls in his sight, saying, We will fall into the hands of the Lord, and not into the hands of men. For as his majesty is, so is his mercy." That's it on that.
All right, so with that, we're going to close. Shalom.
Shalom.